fingertips. You'll be able to skip trace everything all in one central place. So I promise you that this is going to be something that everybody wants to pay attention to. If you haven't already jumped onto PropStream and start using it, I really, really encourage you to make sure that you do it. It is, like Sydney said right, it's a deal hub. I set up David Cousins. He's actually in my inner circles as far as my mentorship program. And in 1 week, he's had over 17 appointments in his market by the list and the filters that I use using PropStream. This is a very, very, very next level system. I mean, everything right there in front of you. Burton is going to break down how you can use to have MLS access. I know a lot of times when we start talking about how do we do this stuff and not having realtor access and things of that nature, this will literally give you access to MLS, all your comps nearby, all the data that you can pull from your local county courthouse. Some of the data, even like your pre-foreclosure, tax liens, everything literally all in one platform. So that's going to be something that really will be a game changer for your business. And I know a lot of people spend a lot of money when it comes to their marketing channels and pulling lists. I mean, I see people that spend thousands just in pulling lists. So I want to make sure that you're not having to spend that amount of money just for that data, because that data is cheap and it's free. You've probably been overpaying for it. So one thing that I take a lot of pride in this training is putting you in a position to save money and do it as effectively as you can with as little money out of pocket as you possibly can. Because I understand that most of us can't afford to be just blowing money. You can't just be spending thousands of dollars on lists. You can't afford it. So like, I really hope everybody pays attention to what we cover in the PropStream, because this thing right here is a game changer. If you have any questions, if you see something that wows you throughout the training, make a note in your cell phone or whatever, and reserve all your questions until the end. We're not going to stop the training to answer any of your questions. There's other people that might understand and pick it up. If you don't get whatever Burton's sharing with it at the time, save all your questions to the end. Just so I let everybody know, very open and early in this thing. If you mention anybody, whether it be my dad, Brian Rigbo, anybody that doesn't have anything to do with this training today, I'm not even going to talk. At gonna give you the boot. I made her a host, so she will literally boot you up out of here. We're not going to deal with any of the. If you're not focused, it won't be in here. You're not going to distract anybody. So everybody understand. We don't come in here and we talk about nothing but what we're working on inside here. If that person's not inside this training, I hate it. Like I say this shit every day, but it sounds like people don't understand it. But Alicia does have the boot button today, and we will be making sure that anybody that gets out online will not impact the people that are here to learn and get this information. So it's a shame I got to talk to grown people and let you, and make threats about kicking you out of a free training, but I guess that's where we are. So if you come in here today with the shit, she's got the button, and I know my homie don't have no problem giving you the boot, because I ain't gonna have time for it. I don't see half of it, but the ones I see really piss me off. So Alicia's gonna help me handle that. So I like start off my day with. We get some poll action going. Okay, so I see a lot of people already currently using PropStream and love it. A lot of you don't know about PropStream quite yet. One person said they like blowing money on their leads. And then we got a few people that need to get together and get in the group, that the I Ain't Got a Dog group. We're gonna start a I Ain't Got It Dog group. Everybody can chip in and help everybody that don't got it. I see a couple people saying they had it before, wasn't really sure how to use it, and that's important when you get these things. That's why I'm bringing Burton on today, because I know when you go and buy something, you get excited about it at first, and then you get in and you don't know how to operate anything, and then it's confusing, and then you're like, well, this shit ain't gonna work for me, so I need to just go ahead and get something else. So this is literally gonna be a game changer. It'll help you get all your stuff, put in here, uh, and we'll knock it out. Let me see where Bert is. Is Bert in here yet? Burton. I don't see him yet. Let me give him a call. How we doing? I got another one for y'all. Put in chat first. And make sure you mute your mic there, brother. I got muted. Burton's on his way in, so everybody will be able to get this game in just a few minutes. Just send him the link. Let me get my audio straight. Okay, can everybody hear me? Put a 1 if you can hear me real quick, please. Thank you. Thank you. All right, cool. So yes, for everybody just joining in, I appreciate everybody joining. We have PropStream will be joining in today to give us a live training of the actual software PropStream and the benefits of it. I promise you, this is going to be a training that if you haven't seen PropStream before, even if you've already been using it, you probably haven't been using it to its entirety. So I make sure that you pay attention today. This is really going to be something that will be very beneficial. I run PropStream literally in my business, and I'm doing deals for a fraction of the cost of a lot of people just by the list that I pull inside of here. It helps me pull my comps. It helps me understand where I can pull my MAOs, which is my max allowable offer. All that data is really right here available to you. And we'll really make sure that every single one of you will leave here with information that will help you be empowered on how to use the system effectively, how you can maximize every dollar that you put into this REI business. Because I want to make sure that everybody that does and follows this training, that you know exactly what's required for you to go out right now and be successful without having to spend thousands of dollars. I know everybody makes you feel like you have to come out and spend $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 in leads to be able to get this thing going, but you don't. Literally, the access to all the data all across the country for less than $100 is literally a game changer. The ability to skip trace, have access to MLS. You can even see like what areas are hot. You can block off certain parts of the market. Like when you see this training, I'm telling you right now, this is like really, really nuts. And it's the reason why I was sold on it. And as soon as Burton gets in here, we're going to break this thing down. And let me see if he's here yet. Yep, there he is. Burton, you ready to go, brother?
Hey, how's it going, Tony? Can you hear
Hey,
me?
how's it going, man? Yep, we can hear you.
Growing well. Thank you so much. And thanks for having me, everyone. Thanks for joining. Let me get my screen over to you guys so we can just get
Let
straight to it.
me make you. I already made you a co-host already. Yep, you good. Okay, cool.
Awesome, man. Let me pull up my platform here. All right, everyone. So this is PropStream.com. I know you guys have either heard about it, maybe you're using it, as Tony says, but maybe you're not effectively using it. And so today I'm going to show you like every core feature that we have, how to essentially approach this product from beginning to end. Whether you're a wholesaler, fix and flipper, you're looking for buyers, you're looking to run comps on the MLS, running rehab on a property, I'm going to show you it all. So pull out your notepads, guys, and get ready to take some notes. So when you first log in, we're going to capture your IP address and we're going to zoom in on your area. So I'm over here in Orange County, California, but as Tony mentioned, we're nationwide data. So you can search anywhere in the United States. That's literally your playground when it comes to investing with us. But I do want to take your attention to the left-hand side. This is the most important feature here because this is the toolbar. This is where you're going to be jumping back and forth from certain sections, such as searching, where you perform all your searches, and filtering for your data. Properties is where we store your results. So this is where you'll be able to micromanage your results and export your lists. Contacts is where you'll be able to import an outside list. So whether you've used, like for example, I use List Source if you use it, but you want to skip trace the list that you get from them or market to that list that you get from them, you can go to our contacts page and we can import that list into the system and kind of wrap it all up, right? Just skip trace it and start sending voicemail drops and postcards and whatnot. Skip tracing is the feature where you can take a list, whether it's our list that you created with us or an external list, and get their contact information. It's 30 cents per successful address, so we're not charging you for the success for the entire service. We're charging for the success rate. So for example, if you have 100 addresses, normally that would be $30. We don't do that. We wait for the results to come back. So if you do 100 addresses and 90 of them come back with results, then 90 times 30 cents, you're only paying 27 bucks for that. So we do that to kind of make it fair. We know that some providers out there will charge you for the service and then give you 50% back. So we don't want to take that approach. Very effective. We do use a provider that is used by most private investigators, law enforcement agencies, and lawyers. So it is a double-edged sword. The results you're going to get are highly accurate, but they're not scrubbed. So you do want to make sure that you are exporting the list and just making sure that you're going through that do not call list on your own free time to prevent any legal issues from occurring. And then the last category that we have is the campaign category. So this is where you'll be able to do your marketing. Once you build your list and skip trace it, you can then create a landing page, which is a one-page website, and that's for free. After creating that landing page, you can then send out postcards directly to those addresses. You can do voicemail drops, ringless voicemail drops to those phone numbers that you've collected, and an email blast to those emails that you've collected. And the last category is the help section. So this is where you're going to find our video tutorials, our contact information, and our support email. So don't hesitate to reach out. This is not just a one-time thing. You're never going to hear from us again. No, we're here. You guys can call us. I'm usually answering the phone, so you might even speak to me directly. But don't hesitate. You guys will have questions. We do give you a trial period, so you guys have a lot of time to kind of get familiar with it. Hopefully today I get you really familiar with it, so you're spending your 7 days of a trial period just pulling leads and finding motivated buyers and whatnot. But the last thing on the toolbar I do want to bring to your attention is your profile page. The sole reason I'm bringing you here is pretty much this section here. This is our business section, and what we really want you to do is fill out your business information, business name, business website, phone number, email, and your business address. Now, the reason we want you to do that is if you're going to be using our postcards, that's going to tie in heavily with that. So some of our postcards are automatically coded, meaning it's going to say things like, please call me at, or please visit my website at. And if you have this filled out, that information is going to get slapped on your postcard automatically. So you don't have to go in there and manually type in your information over and over again. having that filled out will instantaneously show you what it's going to look like on the postcard. And we'll get to that in a few. But now let's talk about searching. So nationwide data, I don't want to show you guys California. That's kind of redundant, right? Someone's showing you a demo and they show you the results in their area. I'm gonna actually take you to the east side. So let's go to Fulton County, Georgia. So Atlanta area. So you have 5 searches. First one being like county level searches. So just type out the entire county. And here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna zoom in on the map for you. So here's Fulton County. And here at the top are all of our results. So these are all the listing types that you can actually go through manually or filter through them. But beginning with MLS. So it's telling me that PropStream has collected over 67,000 MLS records. So these are actual MLS properties that are on the market, either active, sold, pending, contingent, or failed. So whether you're looking to use this list to find comps, or using this list to find below market valued properties, or maybe you're going through this list to find expired listings, you have that ability. And for every property so when you click on this box, your results will show up on the right-hand side over here. But what really has separated us from most providers is this simple thing where you can actually click on that property and get all the details that we have on that property. So every property that you see on the right-hand side is loaded with all the details. So in this perfect example, I have photos at the top I can look at. So clicking on that, I'm able to see those MLS photos that were listed on the property, see the rehab. Now I can determine, hey, why did this property get listed for that amount? Here are the photos. It also can let me know whether the person that's doing this rehab may be a potential investor as well. So we can maybe add a new buyer to the list. But it's also telling me that this property once was going through a lien. It's currently on the market. I can run comparables either at a local level or a county level, or using neighboring records, or my personal favorite, MLS records. So here at the top, we give you property characteristics, the estimated value of the property that we believe, when the property last sold and what it last sold for. And to the right, we give you comps. Now, if you're hesitant or you're skeptical like I am, you probably don't want to go by that, right? Because let's think about it, right? You're talking to an investor and you say, hey, Mr. Buyer, here's a property I have a contract for. The ARV is 157 here at the top. They're probably going to ask you, well, how do you know that, right? And so you don't want to just kind of go by any number. I know in this case, in my point, there are times where it's very accurate, but it is data driven. And you also want to have that data with you, so when you're making those offers, you can justify that offer. And so in our system, you have the ability to just run your own comps. So instead of going by our estimated value, you can actually go down here and say, okay, I want to use county records, which is the first box. So now we can change the filter down below. We can go back, for example, 6 months. So show me all the results starting January 1st of this year. Knowing the property characteristics here at the top, I can apply characteristics down below. I can increase my distance. So that was a half-mile radius. Here's a 1-mile radius. One thing to be careful about is when you're running county comps, and they don't really tell you this, but we're going to tell you this, but a lot of sales that you're going to get from a county, especially in an area that's very hot in terms of investing, is you're going to get a lot of cash bought records, and we're able to help you identify that. So as you can see here, the property is valued around 150, 160. Anytime you see a comp where there's green, that's a cash bought property. So as you can see here, sometimes they're much lower valued. So be careful with that, because when you're running comps, you're trying to get an average. And so sometimes you might need to increase the distance so that way you can see things that aren't cash bought. So we can deselect all the cash bought properties here. We can even apply our filter to the left. That will help us reduce the 2 bedrooms and whatnot. But ultimately, what you want to do is deselect the cash buyers and find the truest comps in your neighborhood. And as you deselect and make your selection, you'll see a new summary just here at the top. So rather than going by what we're telling you, you can say, hey, you know what? I want to run my own comps using county records, 2-mile radius, using these filters within the last 6 months. You make your selection. You can now hit view report, and we are now going to generate you a comparables report. So you'll be able to see all the comps in that area, your low, your high, your average, the subject property, and then all of the comps, in this case, all 18 that I selected. So now it's a little bit more justifiable when I'm going to a buyer and say, hey, ARV is this price, here are all the comps, and they see this. they're probably not going to question you as much as one would if you didn't have this information. Okay, so I think that's very valuable information. That report is very, very powerful. But there are times, for example, you're in a non-disclosure state, right? And when you're in a non-disclosure state like Texas, they're not going to give you sell amounts, or the sell amounts that you get are estimated values, and that's perfectly fine because we now give you access to the MLS. And remember, the MLS is an entirely separate database. So MLS is brokerage and agent information. Comps and neighbors are county records. So if you're in an area where comps are very limited or you're in a non-disclosure area, use the MLS. So here, we're showing you, in this case, around this property, the most recent 129 MLS listings. So again, I can go back 6 months, starting the beginning of the year. I can apply my bedrooms, my bathrooms, my distance, and I even can say things like, show me all the properties that sold around my neighborhood. And now I can see what their listing prices are, where they're located near my property, and I can even go to details, and we're going to open up another tab for you to show you the details of that property. So now you can see its characteristics and what it sold for and all that information as well. So you're able to run comps not only at, again, a local level, but now you have the ability, just like a realtor would, to run comps either through sold listings, or maybe you want to see what's currently your competition. So what's active around the corner, or why is it active for that price type of a thing. So those are the comps. You have the ability to use county records, neighboring records if you'd like, or the MLS listings. And then everything to the right is just all the other listings that we had, like pre-foreclosures around the property, foreclosures, or my personal favorite, cash buyers that are already around the area, right? So rather than sending postcards to all the investors in the city, I can send postcards to the 90 that are already in a 1 mile radius around my property. So there's a lot of information that we're providing to you, and that's just the comp section. Then you have tax information, mortgage information, transaction history, so you can see if things are being transferred from one person to another. Mortgage information is my favorite because that's going to show you things that happen after the fact. So you might see someone pulling out an equity or a line of credit, and we're going to show you that. And all of this information is what we're using to give you that mortgage balance, right? So we know when the loan was created, we know the date, we know the interest rate, we know all of that information. And so what we're doing is we're just reverse calculating the payments for you. So we're going to let you know that, hey, if they've been paying on time, the minimum every month from 2013 up until today, they should be around $83,000 in balance. They do have a lien on their property. That lien is a state tax lien. So obviously we have to cover both of those if we want the property, and the property can sell around 157, or depending on our comps, we value it at 160. So before we even made a call, we have a better picture. We know the person owns about $90,000. The property could sell for about 160. Now we can run our calculations. As Tony says, you can now pull out your notepad and pen and start doing your MAO offer. Okay, so a lot of information we have. Then we have documents and reports, which will allow you to purchase the assessor's map on the right side, or the actual deed of the property if you really want to just get involved with that. So every property in our system has this layout, and what you're looking at is about 11 different sources working side by side. Property details come from the county, lien details come from other aggregators, MLS details come from brokerage, comparables is the MLS, county, recording, and all of their listings, tax information, mortgage information, title history, and so forth. So all of that simply by clicking on a property. And to make things a little bit easier for you, if you like the property that you looked at, just click on print, and we're going to generate a beautiful CMA report for you guys. So this is what our CMA report is going to look like. Actually, get over there. There it is. So we're going to take all of that detail I just went over and put it on a nice report for you. So here's the property characteristics, the comparables, last market sell, lien history. Here's a map of the comps. So green is the subject property, red are the county comps, yellow are the nearby listings. So I can get my highlighter now and start highlighting the ones I need. And then here are the statistics for the environment as well. So now I know, again, in a matter of a click of a button, I can present this report to my, think of it as like a portfolio, getting it over to a buyer and saying, hey, here's a contract for you, and here are all the information. Here are the trends. Here are the history of the information. Here's the comps. So again, we do a lot of work for you, but all you have to do is just filter your results. So other than the print button, you have an analysis wizard. So this allows you to kind of calculate your ROI. So property is worth 160. Let's say we bought it for 85,000. We improved it for 15,000. We can break down on improvements. Here it's telling you, did you use a mortgage for this transaction? And so what type of mortgage? For those of you that are buying it in cash, 0, right? You're not using a mortgage. If you are, you have the years, interest rate, when you're making your first payments. Is there a balloon payment? If so, how many payments? And then adjustable rate information. So you can calculate your variables, your mortgage variables, and we're going to tell you, hey, in 5 years, this is what your out of pocket's going to be. This is what your ROI is going to be, or your return on investment is going to be. So after applying your mortgage, next is your closing costs. In this case, we bought it in cash, so there's no closing costs there. And income. So for those of you that are doing a cash flow, this is just saying, hey, if you're going to rent out this property, how much are you renting it out for? Are you going to break down your property into several units? Are there any miscellaneous charges you're applying? What about management fees? And then last but not least, if you're doing this every year, how are you increasing your revenue? Is it by a percentage every year or a fixed dollar every year? Now, in this case, we're just fixing and flipping, so we're not going to rent it out. We're going to hit 0 there. We're going to go to the expense page. And what this is just showing you is how much does it cost to operate this property, right? Because properties don't sell day one. They might take 3 months on the market, 4 months on the market. So what you want to do here is calculate what your expenses are going to be on a monthly basis. For those of you that are renting out the property, down below, you can increase your annual expenses either by a percentage or a fixed dollar amount. And then the last, but certainly not least section is the sale. So we bought it for 85. We put $15,000 into it. So our out of pocket right now is $100,000. Now we can sell it based on a market value increase rate, meaning if this rate increases by 10%, let's sell it. So we can apply 10% there. We can apply a cap rate if we're renting it out over time, and then we want to sell it once it hits a certain cap rate, inflation rate, or just a fixed selling price. So we bought it for 85, we put 15 into it, we now can sell it for $160,000. We have our sell costs down below, tax information down below, depreciation down below, and last but not least, the analysis period. So by default, we run things for 5 years, but let's say that we know the property is going to sell in 5 months. We can hit 5 months, and now we can calculate what our return on investment is in 5 months when the property sells. So this is a very valuable tool for you. Again, you can do this on a pen and paper, but we're just kind of helping you kind of just make things a little bit easier. Once you've applied all these variables, just go ahead and click next. And now you have your reports. So I can print the complete analysis out, and you guys will be able to see like your cash flow and your taxes, your rehab, and all of that good stuff. So purchase, income, tax deduction, cash flow, and so forth. So for those of you dealing with hard money lenders or private lenders, and you're trying to convince them that the property you're about to invest on is going to be good over a certain period of time, this report's going to be your best friend. So make sure to utilize that heavily. And then the last tool that every property has, other than the print button, the analysis, is the rehab calculator. So rehab calculator is important to me because it allows me to know what the average cost is for a project in that zip code. So rather than what we did a few moments ago, we assumed, hey, $15,000 for that rehab. What this platform is going to allow you to do is when you click on rehab calculator, we're going to redirect you to this company called Blue Hammer. And what they do extremely well at is actually they work with insurance companies, but they calculate property damage, fire damage, and all that good stuff. So a lot of insurance companies use Blue Hammer, and we decided to use them as well. So again, that feature is located in the property in the opportunity box. Just hit the rehab calculator. Oh, looks like there's a little lag here. So let me hit that again. Okay, there we go. So there's the address. I'm going to start a new project. And let's call it the complete bathroom remodel. Plus kitchen. There we go. So now that I've done the rehab and I've started and named the project, I have 2 approaches to take. I can search by individual items. So for those of you that are very advanced, you can search by individual actions and say, okay, bathroom, I want the sink in the bathroom, I want to remove it and reset it, or I just want to remove it. So as you apply your line items, Blue Hammer is going to give you your costs on those line items, again, at a local level. Or if you're like me and you absolutely have no idea, you walked into the property, you just know it needs a complete remodel for the bathroom, and the cabinets in the kitchen need to get done. So you can go to Popular Projects, and this is a list of all the projects that most investors would use. So you can go to bathrooms, look for complete remodel, there it is. Then it's going to ask you, is it just a shower only, or is the tub and shower connected together, or are they separate? So this one was just a shower only. Again, I'm just taking guesses here, but you guys get the idea. Then it's going to ask you what type of material you want to use, designer, the cheapest, or somewhere in between. And last but not least, where are we making these repairs? So these repairs will be in the bathroom. We're going to hit add to estimate, and now I have my local level costs on an average. So we assumed $15,000, and that's not the case. We're actually a little over by $2,000. So this is the average at a local level. This is my do-it-yourself costs, 47 items, project items. So when you look at all the receipts, all the contractor receipts, this is mostly the line items that is going to be used for this project. Things like removing the towel bar, even things like taking out the trash to the truck, right? You got to calculate that stuff, right? A lot of people don't realize that, but yeah, there's trash and you got to get that trash out of your lawn. So not only do you have all the line items, but they're adjustable. So here it says that on average, it takes 2 hours in the neighborhood, $43.88 per hour, but it's going to rain this weekend. So let's say it's going to take 4 hours instead. So that increases your rate. So not only are you able to stack projects or to get an idea of what the project rehab is going to be, but you can stack projects. So I've done my bathroom, I can go back and now I can do my kitchen, cabinets and countertops, medium-sized kitchen, replace it with better quality, put that bad boy in the kitchen, and now in just a second, my rehab costs has increased, and I have my bathroom line items and my kitchen line items. Now, I want to make this clear, guys. This is not to say that I call a contractor right now and they're going to say, yeah, that project will be $39,000. That's not the idea. The idea is this is to give you a foundation to stand upon, right? There's always a high number, there's always a low number. This is the average. So now that I know the average is around $39,000, when I call a contractor and they say a different number, either really high or really low, there should be some more question to ask. Let's assume we didn't have this application and we didn't know the estimate was $39,000. We call a contractor and we say, hey, I'd like to do a bathroom, I'd like to do my cabinets in the kitchen, what's your costs? They say $50,000. But you didn't know it was 39 on average. So you're thinking 50, too high, let me call the next guy. Next guy answers, hey, your competition down the street said $50,000 for these projects. What's your cost? $50,000? Well, I'll beat them by $2,000. I'll do it for $48,000. You think, great, I'm saving a lot of money, but guess what? They're both way above average. And all they're doing is taking advantage of your lack of knowledge. So this is going to give you that foundation to stand upon so you know, hey, everyone should be around $39,000 plus or minus depending on the quality or the labor or the type of material being used. So just note that this is not like the actual price, this is the average. So that is the last tool that we have. That again is the rehab calculator located within our property. So every property in any of our category, and that was just the MLS. So we have pre-foreclosures, auctions, foreclosures, my other favorite category, cash buyers. So these are all the properties that were bought in cash at the time of the sale, whether it's a corporation, an individual for personal reasons or investor reasons. We have liens. These are all tax liens, HOA liens, abstracts of judgments, utility, contractor liens. Pretty much not the fire in the forest, but the smoke, right? Because they don't pay these liens, that can cause the fire. And that's when everybody's going to start going out to it and trying to put it out. And then you have vacant. I want to clear this up. So a lot of providers, including us, have vacant listings. And what you guys should know about this is that it comes from the Postal Service, right? Every provider, about 9 out of 10 of them get vacant listings from the Postal Office. And here's what you need to know. Your definition of vacant is not the same definition as vacant for the Postal Office. See, our definition is when we think vacant, we're thinking abandoned property, boarded up windows, no one's there. That's vacant to us, right? Like driving for dollars. That's what you look for, that vacant property. That's not the case with the USPS. The United States Postal Service's definition of vacant is simply this: an address that has not been answering the mail for 3 consecutive weeks or more. That's it. Whether it's new or old or someone's there or not, if you're not answering that mail for whatever the reason is, you're on vacation or you moved out, you're on this list. So a lot of challenges that people face with our platform or the next platform is that when they go to vacant and they don't filter it, here's what happens. You're going to see recently sold properties. And I'll explain what happened. Person A sold the property to person B, and then person A forgot to forward their mail, right? So 3 weeks go by, person B, who just bought the property, his property is on the list. And if you guys aren't filtering the years of ownership or the last sell date, you're going to start sending postcards to the person who just bought a property. You're wasting your marketing, you're wasting your time, and you're probably going to get hang up on, right? So when you're using our platform or the next provider's platform, pay attention to the sell date. Just to give you an example, I'll do that in a few moments on how you can effectively filter that. But the last 4 categories we have is high equity. These are properties that have 100,000 or more in equity or 50% or more in equity. And then the last 3 categories, which we didn't create boxes for yet, are in the filter. Those are free and clear, so properties with no mortgages, bankruptcies, properties that have filed for bankruptcy, and divorce, so properties that have a divorce recording on there. So those are all the categories that you have access to, but that's not just it. You do have the ability to search specific addresses. So for those of you that are driving for dollars, you can literally just type in an address in our search bar, and we're going to give you all the details to that property. So we're going to zoom in onto the property. Gray is the property. Blue are the neighboring homes, so you can see them down here. I can see all the MLSs around the property, all the pre-foreclosures around the property, all the foreclosures around the property. But what I personally like to do when I search an address is I like to actually click on the street. Sometimes if you're lucky, you'll see the street turn blue. So it'll go from white to blue. You can click on it, and now you can get an actual visual representation of the property. And you can use the arrows to move around, which you guys are familiar with. Nothing new there. This you guys haven't seen, though. You see this button here? If you click on it, we show you where you're at on the map. And instead of using these silly arrows, you can just drag the map around. So I can go around the corner. There's a school. That's probably going to increase the value. Click anywhere on the map. Or for some of you, maybe you're virtual driving for dollars, right? You can just start clicking and dragging and just kind of checking the neighborhood out. So I'm sure not too many of you guys have seen that feature. I wanted to show you that because that's what happens when you search a given area, or if you just keep zooming, and eventually the streets will turn blue and you can click on them. Okay, so just have fun with that. And that's the specific property search. The last search that you can do before I start diving into the filter is the draw search feature. And I like that search. So the way it works is you search an area. So let's do Los Angeles, for example. Instead of getting all of the results to Los Angeles, I can use this icon here at the top left. And all you have to do is left click and let go. So left click and let go, and it's gonna build my first border. Left click and let go, there's my second border. Left click and let go, third border, fourth border. You have up to 99 borders you can make, so you can have fun with it. Then you hit search, and we're just gonna populate the results for you in that given area. So the draw search feature I personally like, and you guys are gonna probably like it too if you're living in a dense area like New York, right, where you literally go down 2 blocks and the zoning could be entirely different. So the draw search feature is going to be effective for finding results in a specific area, but it's also going to be effective for potentially running comps in a certain area too, right? So you draw out an area and now you have all the MLS results, all the pre-foreclosure, all the high equity properties in that area. So there's a lot that you can do with it. Little lag here only because there's a lot of data here. So well, let's not wait for that. Let me load it up again and refresh it. So that is the draw search feature. One thing I do like about that is you can actually stack it with a really cool tool that we have called analytics, which is on the opposite end of the map. But what this allows you to do is see actually the heat map of the area. So we have 4 categories. Estimated value is the first one, and you have some subcategories, but at a click of a button, I know the estimated values of Miami. So red is 1 million or more, light blue is 100 or less, light green is everything in between. MLS status, I can see listing prices in the neighborhood, see what properties would list for in certain areas. Price growth, so show me how Miami has grown in the last 3 years. And then rental value, show me rental prices. And it's not just a blob that we give you. You can actually zoom in on the map. And I like doing this again because we have over 180 million records, but you can zoom in on the map and it's going to actually put those parcels on there for you. So green represents rental prices of about a little bit under 1,000, and then you can click on it, and then there's that information for you. See, so again, it's not just properties that we have in our records. We have over 180 million properties. So if you're just curious, driving around the neighborhood, you see something that looks distressed, type it in. We'll be able to pull that information out for you. And then reason why I like the heat map is you can do things like this. Show me how this area has grown in the last 3 years. Red represents 100% growth. So here's an area I found with a lot of growth. I'm going to use that draw search feature now and just find my leads here. So boom, search, and now I have only results in that area of 100% growth. So now I get to see all the pre-foreclosures, there's 12 of them, all the properties with the tax lien or an HOA lien in there, all the vacant properties. So rather than, going around these neighborhoods, I'm in a hot area already. So not only, especially for renting or cash flowing a property, that's going to be a great thing when we know that properties are increasing in value, at least in the last 3 years by 100%. Okay, so those are the searches that you can perform. That is our heat map that we have here. Let's get to the real power behind the system, and that's the filtering aspect. So I search Fulton County. I'm looking for expired listings. There's 67,000 records to go through. I'm not trying to do that manually. So you get to use the filter here at the top, and there's over 50 categories you can choose from. So beginning with owner occupied, are you looking for an absentee owner? Yes, then you want a non-owner occupied property. If you're looking for an occupied property, yes. If you want both, any. Then you get to choose what lists you want us to filter. So let's start with MLS. And now we're going to work downward. So property characteristics, what type of property we're looking for. Let's say my buyers like to look for single family and multifamily properties. They also like properties that are built before 1990. So I can do a minimum, maximum, or if I leave this blank, it will say 1990 or earlier. I can do bedrooms. So we like to look for 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Square footage, lot square footage, even home features can be applied. And as you guys can see, we're dwindling down the results. We went from 67,000 down to 21,000, and I'm not done yet because that's just property characteristics. The next category is MLS status. So now I can specify the type of MLS information I'm looking for, like a keyword search, like we can put like septic tank. You can do things like that, and it's going to go through all the listings and go through the descriptions and find the properties that say septic tank in the description and stuff like that. Okay, so you can use the keyword search to find the type of listings you're looking for, or if we're looking for failed listings, we can go to status, say failed listings, but not just failed listings. I'm looking for the most recent failed listings, so I'm going to go to listing date, say show me failed listings starting January 1st of this year. Listing amount you can play with if you want. Days on market I like to play with. Just shows how long the owner has waited on the market before it failed. So show me properties that were listed this year and failed, but they failed after 90 days. So they were listed for at least 3 months or more, and then it failed, right? Could you imagine being that homeowner? You waited 3 months, and then all of a sudden it can't sell. Like your desperation has gone up a little bit, and now you guys can be the hero, right? You guys are the solutionists. You go in there, you show some empathy, and then now you can let them know we have alternate solutions. We can cash you out. We can do lease options subject to, I mean, you name it. Okay. So not only do you have the days on market, are you looking for rental listings or not rental listings? Are you looking for below market listings? So these would be like people that are desperate, people that know their property is worth $500,000, but something's happening and they're just trying to list it for $400,000 just to sell it as fast as possible. So that filter will allow you to just find those properties that were listed below the estimated price. And then on market, yes, no, or any. Now, in this case, it doesn't apply, but what if we're looking for pre-foreclosures? Maybe we want pre-foreclosures that are off market, and so that filter would apply heavily for that. The next category after MLS status is foreclosure status. So now we can start stacking other criteria. So I'm looking for a failed listing that's also in pre-foreclosure. And so as you can see, my results will dwindle. In this case, there's only one property that's going through that. I don't really like dealing with one properties. I don't like putting all my eggs in one basket. I like to get at least a few dozen because again, not everyone's going to be willing to sell. So, but you can, again, as you see, you can get really descriptive. Just know that as descriptive as you get, the results will be very, very narrowed. But here, instead of saying I want it in pre-foreclosure, what if I don't want it in pre-foreclosure, right? So I want them to have failed, and then maybe they're selling it because they can't afford it anymore, and so they can't sell through an agent, and it's not in pre-foreclosure yet, right? So maybe if this continues, they might head into pre-foreclosure. So in order to beat out the competition, all the investors hunting down pre-foreclosures, we can say none. Look for failed listings that are not yet in pre-foreclosure. For those of you that are looking for pre-foreclosures or foreclosures, you can specify document type, listing date, the default amount, when the auction will be held, and so forth. So that is foreclosure status. In this case, I'm choosing none. Next category is ownership info. How many years has the owner lived in this property, minimum or maximum? The owner type, corporate or individual, or both. In this case, I want to deal with individuals. They're a lot easier to negotiate with. Last sell date, last sell price. For those of you looking for non-owner occupied owners, we can specify out-of-state owners. So not only are they not occupying the property, but this is an out-of-state owner now. And could you imagine an out-of-state owner trying to list their property, waited 3 months, and it failed? Like, talk about a headache. Now you have to call another agent, or in a different state, and figure out what the alternative solutions are. And again, you could be that person that gives them the call and says, hey, I'm here to help, right? So lots of different things that you can do there. And then vacant, are these also addresses not answering their mail? So you can check that off as well. Next category is lien, bankruptcy, and divorce status. Similar to the foreclosure section, we can stack a criteria to it. So I can say, hey, not only do I want it to have failed, but I want it to have a lien on that property, or I want there to be a divorce recorded on that property, or a bankruptcy on that property. Now, in this case, if I chose lien, it dwindles down to 31 results. I could then specify the lien on that property, like a tax lien, an HOA lien, when that lien was recorded, or the lien amount to that lien. In this case, I don't want any liens. I don't want to pay extra on top of what I have to buy the property for. And then the last two categories is value trend. So estimated value, estimated rental income, how much the property has grown, and over the time frame of a year. And then last, but certainly not the least, is estimated equity. So how much equity on the property, or percentage of equity on the property, number of mortgages, total mortgage amount, mortgage interest rate, loan to value ratio, mortgage term, mortgage maturity date, loan type, whether the property was once bought in cash or is currently free and clear. So you have 50 options to play with. Once you apply your filters, you hit apply, and boom, we went from 67,000 results down to 176, but guess what? You can qualify them now. So don't take our word for it. Click on the property and start looking at the information. Mortgage balance 267, property's worth 346, equity's around $141,000. I don't want to go by those comps. Let me go to the comps and run my own report. So let me run neighboring comps, or MLS comps, or county comps. I also want to make sure the owner hasn't done anything recently. If they have, that's probably why that has increased. Let me check out the transaction history. Let me print this property out. Let me run the analysis. Let me run a rehab on the property. And in about, again, more advanced users, but within about 15 to 30 minutes, you've now completely analyzed that property. So when you make that phone call, you already know your strategy, you already know your MAO, you already know any alternative solutions that you might have. And it's not one of those calls where it's, hey, what's going on? And then you start having asking these silly questions like, what do you owe? And stuff. Most of the information's here for you. So very effective in terms of filtering. That's what really separated us from a lot of providers, is the ability to really get comprehensive with your filtering, but then the ability to actually go through your results, right? Some providers, after you filter, they just sell you the list, and then on with the show you go. You don't even know whether it's correct or not. You just have to go by them. In our case, you don't have to do that. You can qualify them, and then once you're done qualifying them, hey, you don't have to choose them all. Here's 176 results. I can't choose them all, or I can say filter numbers 1 through 50. I just want the most recent ones, and then choose numbers 1 through 50. So 50 are selected. I'm going to add it to a list. MLS failed, Fulton County. And boom, I've now created a marketing list. And for more advanced users, you can even save your search, label it MLS failed listings, Fulton County, add your details. You can replace any of our boxes you don't need, and you can even set up a notification. So we can let you know every time a new result populates with that exact same criteria. So that way you don't have to go in here every day and do that yourself manually, right? The idea is, I log out, I log back in, everything's back down to 0. Why go in there and type all that stuff out? Anything you save goes into all searches. I can now click on that search and we're back to where we were yesterday, like nothing ever changed, right? And any new results will be the new number. So if 3 new results showed up, it will say 180. 1, 2, and 3 are the newest results. We always put the newest ones up top, okay? So very effective in terms of building your list, saving it, and setting up notifications. But what really, again, separates us is that filtering. And I'm going to show you guys some cool tips and tricks. So these are some of our popular searches. So I showed you failed listings. Let's talk about vacant. Again, United States Postal. If we click on that, recently sold. So how do we get rid of that? We go to filter, owner occupied, yes, no, or any. In this case, I'm going to say yes because I want to knock on their door. I want to make sure they're there. Property characteristics, single family, multifamily, 1990 or before. I want it off market, so I don't want to have to deal with an agent or it being listed. So I want it off market. And then to get rid of those recently sold properties, ownership info, I'm going to do 5 years of ownership, and it's an individual. So what did I do? I said, hey, go through this list of addresses not answering their mail, get rid of all the ones that are recently sold. And in order to do that, I did 5 years of ownership. So what I'm saying is, find me the properties where people have lived there for 5 years and they're now not answering their mail anymore for whatever their reasons. So here we went down to 680 results. And as you can see here, this property was bought 5 years ago. So for the last 60 months, they've been answering their mail. And then now this last month, they haven't. That's a smoke there in the forest, right? We want to go call them, figure out what's going on. Or you can add another level to it. So not only are you lived there for 5 years, you're not answering the mail, but you filed for bankruptcy recently. And so now it's going to show me, oh, there's 9 properties not answering their mail, lived there for 5 years or more, and they filed for bankruptcy. So the filtering, again, is going to allow you to build very high distress lists, low distress lists, whatever you can possibly think of. Last thing I want to show you guys is how to find cash buyers, because that's one of my favorite categories. And I'm going to show you guys 2 ways to do it. One way is the more traditional route. The other way, you're never going to see anything like it. And I'm going to show you guys today how that works. So let's go to, let's say Los Angeles. Let's step out of here. So let's go to Los Angeles. And in Los Angeles, we have 23,000 cash buyers. So the more traditional route that people take is they'll go to filter, look for a non-owner occupied cash buyer, right? Most buyers, they don't occupy the property they buy it, they rehab it, and then they flip it or they rent it out. So they're never occupying the property. So you want to start occupied, no, choose cash buyers, choose your property characteristics. You can stack MLS data, but most people go to ownership info and they say, hey, show me a buyer that bought the property last sell date, let's say last year, or actually they'll do like max 1 year. So these are all the properties that were bought within the last year, 977 results. Now you can, again, get more fine-tuned by saying, okay, buyers that buy a single family property or a multifamily property. And so now you're lowering it down to a much more narrowed category. And you go from there, right? Now we can save it and add it to a list. But being that you have access to the MLS, take advantage of that. So this filter is just mind-blowing. So here's what you can do with the MLS data and our cash buyers. You can search an area, go to filter and say owner occupied, no, cash buyer. And then this time I'm going to say, hey, I want the buyer to have listed the property on the market this year. So I want them to have listed it as active or it's sold, either or, it doesn't matter. But I want it listed, I want it listed January 1st or after, right? So far, non-owner, cash spot property, either active or sold. Actually, let's just do all. It doesn't really matter. I just want to know that they listed it. So they listed it on or after the new year, but I'm going to go to ownership info and I'm going to say I want them to have bought the property prior to that though, right? So I want them to have bought the property in cash between August to December of last year. So what I'm trying to say is that go through all these cash bought records, find me the person that bought it between August and December, so in that last 4 months of last year, and then obviously they rehabbed it, and then they flipped it sometime this year. So that's the criteria. No cash buyer listed it on or after this year, and they bought it between August and December. I'm going to hit apply. Here are my 15 results. Why do I like doing this? Because now I can click on that property, go to cash sale and see what they bought it for, $344 in cash. Here's the buyer's name. Here's the buyer's address. And I can go to the MLS details and see what they're listing it for now, right? Look how huge that jump is. And so now it's not just, hey, I know you bought a property in cash, but I don't know what you're doing after it. Now I know that person bought it for 344 and they're flipping it for 600. Let's go to the next guy. What did he buy it for? He bought it for 805. He's flipping it for $1.3 million. Is that a buyer? Absolutely, guys. And in just a second, I have the person's name and their address. So Roy, I'm going to give you a call when I have a property that's in your neighborhood that absolutely matches this characteristics, right? Or guess what? I just start hunting down those property characteristics, get someone on contract, give Roy a call. I'm going to make myself a huge assignment fee in California, right? And every one of those is going to be very similar. So here, person bought it for 285, they're listing it for 431. All I did was took the cash buyers list and stacked it on top of the MLS. And again, this is a property that was bought between August and December of last year and then listed sometime this year. And now I have 15 solid cash buyers in my market. And this could be used in any market. I'm going to go ahead and check them off because I'm actually going to use this list for future buyers. I'm going to hit save. And that's it, guys. That is
You're
our
giving away
search.
my game right now, Bert.
Uh,
You introduced what I'm going to be training at in a couple of days. Let's go.
Absolutely, man. I figured, you know what? People have to see it. Then they're going to be like, dang, I got to get that trial period now. Because, hey, you see it and you saw how I did it, how easy it is to use, but you need our tool to use it. So you guys can have this information for free, but obviously you need to have the tool to utilize it. So other than that, guys, the next step is properties where we store everything for you. So here I'll be able to find my buyers. Here are my Fulton County buyers. Any other list I've saved. What's really important here is that you can check off your properties and export it. So for those of you guys that are just here for the data, once you build your list, go to the properties page, click on your list, hit the export button, and you'll get that Excel sheet down below. Ultimately, this is an area where you can micromanage. So you can check off properties one last time, click on their details one last time. You can remove them. You can add them to a different group or add them to a different list. But that's pretty much what the properties is designed to do, is to help you micromanage. The next category is contacts, as I mentioned. What's really important here is that you can manually edit contact information. So we list everybody in alphabetical order for you that you've saved. You can click on their name or search by their name or address or any of the following fields. You can import an outside list. So you can bring in a data or a list from like ListSource or any other provider you can think of, import it into our system and upload it. Once you upload it, you'll be able to create a group. For example, here, I did an upload, an import, and then I was able to get their contact information. So what's important here is you can manually edit information, you can import, and this is also the section right here where we store all of your skip tracing results. So to skip trace, I'll show you guys how to do that right now. You're gonna click on skip tracing, select contacts, choose your list. So where are my Fulton buyers? Here we go. Oh, that's not the right one. Where's the new one I just saved? Oh, Los Angeles buyers. There they are. Los Angeles buyers. Then I can hit add selected contacts. They're going to show me in alphabetical order. So once they're highlighted in yellow, I can go ahead and hit done, go to the next page, place my order, accept the terms and agreements, name my list. So Los Angeles buyers, and then hit done. Once I do that, that list will now populate in the contacts page here at the bottom left. So you'll be able to see your list. And so this is essentially what it's going to look like. When you place a list and you skip trace it, it's going to go from like no results. So this is what it looks like with no results, right? No emails and phone numbers. Once you skip trace, it takes about 15 to 20 minutes to get results. And then boom, this is what it's going to look like. You'll have emails and phone numbers. You'll even have a summary that tells you what your final price is. So you did 98 addresses here at the top, but we only got 94. So we're going to charge you only for 94. But now that I have the results, I can check them all off, hit the export button. Now I have an Excel sheet with phone numbers. And this is if you're going to just use our skip tracing and go somewhere else for marketing, or you can wrap it all up by going to our campaign page. So in our campaign page, you'll be able to start a new campaign, name it, so LA buyers, and then choose your group. So I'm going to go for my skip tracing list and find my LA buyers. Or you know what, I'm just going to choose one that has results already. So let's just choose that one. I can add more than one group if I wanted to market to more than one group. I can edit anybody from my list if I need to. But once you've named it and you've chose your list to campaign to, hit save. You have successfully created a new campaign. First thing we want you to do is set up a website. It's free. And the way the website is designed, the reason for the website is you're going to have different campaigns and different categories of audiences. So we don't want you to use the same website for the same person. Like if you're going to be campaigning to cash buyers, you don't want your website to say, I close deals in 30 days. You want your website to probably say, hey, I have a contract ready for you. And then on the opposite end, if you are dealing with people that are in pre-foreclosure, then your website's going to say, I close in 30 days or something like that, right? So when you create a website, the first thing we want you to do is create a website name. This is your URL. This is something you cannot change, but you can change the back part. So we can say Tony, the closer, and if it works, it works. Name is available, or whatever you can think of. I mean, you name it, the system will tell you if it's available. Next is contact email. Where would you like notifications to be sent to? So when people start getting to your website and start filling out the application, where would you like the notifications to be emailed to? So we can email them to you or anybody else. Enable website templates so you can save your design. So in just a few moments, you can start with a blank website and upload your own background, your own logo, 5 images, perhaps images of the property. You can change your header text or your body text. If you decide not to use a blank website, we have some predefined ones that you can choose from. And so here's a predefined one. But this is your preview, so you can do things like we close in 30 days, no sales fee or anything like that, right? Body text. And then if this is too small for you, you can hit preview and actually see what it's going to look like on an actual website. And here's the application. And once you like what you've done, you see how it's inactive right now. All I have to do is hit publish, and we have an actual website now. So we can actually click on this link, open a new tab. Here's the web address. There's our website. Okay, so very quick and effective in terms of the landing page, just to help you organize people contacting you and which category of people are contacting you from. And then once you create the website, this is the dashboard right here. The name of the campaign, the date the campaign was created, the web address, if you need to edit it, hit edit, how many people are in this campaign you're marketing to, and then all the activities that you've performed. Below is the activity manager, beginning with postcards, very similar to the website, work top to bottom. Name the postcard, this is just for you. Size of the postcard, so do you want the standard size, which is 64 cents per card, that includes postage? Or would you like the 5.5 by 8.5, which is 78 cents per post or per card, including postage? Below, do you want to store your design? You guys can upload your own design or create one from scratch. If you don't want to keep uploading or creating one from scratch, you can check this off and we'll store it in our template design, our template section. If you want to create your own postcard, start with the blank postcard. Here's the front side. You can upload an image to the front side of the card or go to advanced and just create one from scratch. For example, we can create a red card. We can add a background image, add a logo. We can add a text in the box, so we can expand it. And this is what I wanted to show you guys. This is why having your business section was important at the beginning of the call, because when that stuff is filled out, you can do things like this. Hey, my name is, and then you can hit the insert field and click on full name, and then it's going to apply your full name here at the top. I was interested in your property located on, and then I can go to insert field, property, street, and city, state, and zip. And what that's going to do is it's going to pull from the list of people that I have and automatically apply their address on there. So let me just space it so it looks good. Please give me a call, Mr. and Mrs. owner's full name. My phone number is, and then business phone, or visit my website at, and then business website. So as you guys see, it's dynamic. I can even, again, highlight the entire thing, change the font. So let me change the font. There we go. Make it a little bit bigger so everyone can see it. I'm going to hit done. First side is completed. I can even hit print preview and kind of see what it's going to look like. Hey, my name is Burton Art Alicondo. I was interested in your property located on 3253 North Mountain Shadow Desert, Hot Springs, California, 92570. Please give me a call, Mr. and Mrs. Elizabeth, and then the owner's name, of course. My phone number is 877-204, or visit my website at. And that's because, again, I filled out my profile information and we're pulling the records from the people on your list. So once you have those fields filled out, you can hit print and mail, publish it. It's going to say, hey, does it look good? If so, you can hit continue, place your order, and we're going to send them out to the addresses for you. And that's if you create a blank postcard, or you can actually just use one of our templates. We have like 12, like 24 of them. And most of them have the coded lines already. So you just choose the one that you like in our template option here. So I'm going to choose just one here. I'm going to use this big notice one right here. I'm going to hit select, done. It's already there. As you can see, a lot of them are already coded. So when I click view property, it's just going to show me their addresses now and their names and stuff like that. So you can now hit print and mail. So the postcards are very dynamic. Again, very like effortless, unless you're going to really dive in there and create your own card. But the idea is we're already connecting your profile name and your profile business name and the list all together on the postcard. So you just choose the template and then just print and mail and send them out. Second category that you can do is ringless voicemail drops, and these are very, very easy. Step one, select a caller ID. So hit add edit caller ID and apply your caller ID. All right, so there you go. Hit save, caller ID has been applied. Step two, select a recording. If you don't have one, add one, name it, cash buyers recording. And then you can upload your own file. So you can choose your own file, or you can hit create new. So if you're not like a tech savvy person, don't worry about it. We got you covered. Go to create new and hit obtain audio pin. Okay. And we're going to give you an 800 number. So just call the 800 number, dial the pin number, and they'll do the recording over the phone for you. And then after the recording is done, hit save new recording, and it'll get stored in the drop down menu. And then you can even hit play and listen to your recording before anybody else does. Step three is select your schedule. So if you don't have one, add one, RVM schedule, and then you can choose your time frame. So today's Wednesday. Calls will be made out between 9 and 5 today. Let's say I don't want calls to come out today. Just make sure the time matches. So make sure it's 9 to 9, and it'll say delivery window non-available. So no deliveries. Thursday, so it won't go out today, but it'll go out tomorrow. It can go out tomorrow afternoon, after 12 p.m., 12 to 5. So you can actually set up your RVMs in advance. Once you have your schedule set up, just hit save, and your schedule will be stored in the drop-down menu. And last but not least, calls per minute. We can do 1 call every minute or up to 30 calls a minute. It's really about preference. So in this example, we have 98 people. If I did 1 call a minute, that's 98 minutes, 10 calls, 9 minutes, 30 calls, 3 minutes, we're done. So 4 simple steps. Once you do that, hit save and active. The first time around, it's a little difficult, but once you have your things stored, you go back in here, choose your drop down, choose the recording, choose your schedule, choose your calls per minute, then shoot out your phone calls, right? So at first it's going to take time because you have to set up the recording and whatnot, but if your recordings are generic and you're going to be using it again and again, you see how fast you can do it once you have it all established. And then the last campaign we have is the email campaign. Oh, regarding pricing, voicemail drops are 10 cents per drop, but that's 10 cents per successful voicemail. So the voicemail has to be delivered in order for us to charge you. Yeah.
Just the closer's RVM is at 5 cents, just so they know.
Oh, even better. There you go. Even better, guys. So you guys better thank Tony for that, guys. Emailer. So that's our last email campaign here. So here you'll be able to name the email campaign. What's the subject of the email? So, hey, cash buyers want to make 150K, and that's the heading. Click through URL. So if you created a website with us, we'll put the website in there for you, or you can put an outside website in there. The idea there is if they click on the image or the learn more button, they'll get redirected to that website. Last 3 steps is, do you want to send them out immediately or at a later date? Do you want to save your design or not save your design? And then do you want to start with a blank email or a template? And then very similar to the postcards and the website, banner, top logo, bottom logo, your header text, which is located over here, body text, which is located over here, and then you have 5 layouts you can choose from. So the differences 1 and 2 are pictures that they have to click on to get to your website. 3, 4, and 5 have the Learn More button. So that if they click on the Learn More button, they'll get redirected to you. Before you send this out, you can actually preview it by emailing it to yourself. And then after previewing it, you can actually publish it, and then we'll send it out based on your schedule. But that's pretty much it, guys. That is our campaign page. So again, the last category there is the help tab. But going again from our toolbar, it's just top to bottom. Search, type in a county, type in a city, type in a zip code, do the draw search feature, or search a specific address. Then go to the filters or click on that address to get the details. Run your comps, run your rehab, run your analysis period, analyze the property. That's what we want you to do. Once you're fully convinced that that property is worth your time, save it. Add it to a marketing list, and those marketing lists will be stored in the properties page. Here, you'll be able to click on your lists, check them off, export them onto an Excel sheet, and then we'll see you later. Or once you have your marketing list created, you can click on skip tracing, go through 1, 2, and 3, choose your lists. Once you skip trace it, your results will populate in the contacts page, bottom left. So now we have our phone numbers. At this point, you can highlight them and export them, and then we'll see you later. Or once you get your phone numbers and emails, you then can wrap it all up by going to the campaign section, starting a new campaign, choosing that list, and then you'll be able to create a landing page so they can get redirected to that landing page, send out postcards, RVMs, or emails. And that is PropStream.com in a nutshell for you guys. So I know it's a lot, but I wanted to show you guys all the aspects that you have. We've really tried to make it so as.
Hey, Bert, you missed something for me, man.
Yeah.
Like everybody, I can't believe you misses one important part for all the people that are on here: the
What's that?
contracts and the
Oh,
forms.
absolutely. I usually like to make sure that that's the last thing, but property page, guys, bottom left, very, very important. We have some contracts that you guys can use. Now, these are not state specific, so you definitely want to make sure if you're going to pull one out, let's say someone's past due and it's one of your properties that you're renting out, you can view the contract. I don't have Microsoft Word, so it's going to look a little funky, but you can see the contract, and you can obviously apply the fields, print them out, but just make sure that you guys are getting it reviewed by a specialist. But we have a purchase agreement. I mean, we have tons of contracts that you guys can view. I think it's like 24 contracts, agreement for deed, contract for
How
purchase
much
and
how much
sale.
do those contracts cost, Bert?
Well, if from us, they're free, so you get to print them out. But if you were to call like a real estate attorney right now and say, hey, like create me a new purchase agreement out here in California, $1,300 just for that contract, just for that one contract.
I know how much it costs. I just want to make sure people understood that was part of the purchasing PropStream.
Absolutely. So thanks for bringing that up. I agree with you 100%. That is a very important thing because a lot of people, again, when it comes to contracts, either you're trying to find a friend that has one for you. We do have them for you. Just now that you have it, that's one less fee to pay for. Just have a specialist or an expert look at it. Just make sure that you're protected. You have your contingencies in there in case. Right?
Absolutely.
And that is our application. And if you guys have questions, which I know a lot of you guys do, feel free to send that over. Our help tab.
Hey, Bert, can I get you on a couple other things real quick while you're here? Because
Yeah.
it's one other thing I want you to do. If you could go back to the campaigns page, not the campaign, the where the properties were, same page you were just on.
Properties page, right?
Properties page.
Mm-hmm.
And just go over the new recordings, recently sold, status
Yes.
change, auction at the top.
This is going to change very soon, but for now, this is what these boxes are representing. I didn't go over them, but I'll go over them now because, again, don't get too comfortable. They will change dramatically. But these 4 boxes will record every one of your properties. As you guys can see, I have 11 groups, 42 properties. Every one of them have different amounts of properties. It would be utterly ridiculous for you to try to manually find out what has changed within each list or group that you have. So here I have 22,000 properties stored. At the top, it's telling me that of your 22,000 properties, 800 of them have had a new recording. So instead of going through each individual list, I can click on this box. Here are all 837, and I get to see what list they're in. So this property that had a new recording is actually in my OC list, which is down here. So it's my OC vacant list, right? The second one is in the dump bin, which is all the way down here. So these boxes will help you micromanage your list even better. And I think I like that because, again, rather than going through all of them, here are 837. I can now check them all off and add it to a new list and call it the new recording list. Right? So now instead of having to go through all 42 groups, all 11, or all 42 marketing lists, all 11 groups, I saw all 837 and now they're in my new recording list right here. Right. Same thing with recently sold. You click on that. We're going to show you all the properties of your 22,000 that have recently sold. So we can do the same thing. We can check them off, add it to a group, add it to a list, or remove. I want them all gone because someone's already beaten me to them, so I don't want them anymore. So they've all been removed, right? So they're gone. Recently sold back down to 0. Or status change. So how many properties have changed status on the market, right? So have they gone from active to off market, or are they pending, or are they failed? Again, rather than going through all your categories, click on that. We're going to show you what list they're in and so forth. And then the last, but I think most powerful one of the bunch is auctions. So these are the people that are like at the highest level of distress. They're a few weeks away from losing their home. Again, you save properties. These properties could have been in a lien list, and a few weeks have gone by. I wasn't paying attention to it. Now there's an auction date. That property will show up in this category. I can click on that, check them all off, add it to a group, the call now group, right? And so now I've isolated my call now group, which is right here. These are my 126. I can now export, or I can, since I created a list for it now, I can skip trace it and give them a call, obviously get their contact information. So I can give them a call and see if we can close that right away. So that is those 4
Absolutely.
boxes at the top. They're, again, very powerful, but we're going to be doing a big update pretty soon. I can't get into too much details, but don't get comfortable with them. There's going to be a lot more of those. There's going to be several boxes up there in the future.
So I want to thank Bert for jumping on here. I see a ton of questions that are coming down here, Bert. So I know you have a couple other demos that you're doing today.
Yeah.
So I'll take maybe like a good 5 to 10 minutes and just run through some of the questions that I told everybody to hold their questions to the end. So I want to see if we can just, if you got enough time, just to, go
Yeah.
through a couple of
I'll
questions that
start.
people
I'll
may
start
have.
bottom up, or let's start top to bottom. So let's go here. Okay, after all the ones, let's go. How much will training be after July? That's obviously a Tony question. um $97 a month. Yeah, so it's $97 a month. Thanks to Tony. You guys got a disc. Please don't sign up through us. Don't go to our website. Don't go to our website. Tony has a sign up link. He's going to give you a discounted price. So not only do you get his discounted price, but it's 10,000 properties you get to export every month. So as I showed you, you guys can go through 1 million property records. That's no problem. It's when you save them is when it counts against you. So I can type in 1 million addresses and look at their comps, no problem. But the moment I start saving them, you get 10,000 every month. Okay, so be careful with that. Do you get phone, email, and address? Yes, you do. It's not selective, it's random. So you can get either a landline, a cell phone, or an email. There's no way to choose which one you want. The provider will scrub the credit bureau data and just give you what was on there. So if the homeowner put an email, then you're getting an email. If the homeowner didn't put an email, then you're not getting an email. Non-disclosure state means, okay, someone's answered that for me. Thank you. But yeah, non-disclosure state means there's 14 states. Google it, non-disclosure states. 14 states, what it really ultimately means is that these 14 states will withhold certain information. Most of the time, like Texas, they withhold the sale amount. So when you're looking at county records, if you live in the state of Texas, you don't get access to what the price is from the county's perspective. This is why MLS has become very popular in non-disclosure states. This is why we have it, is because if the county is not going to give you the sale data, let's look at the broker's database, and they provide not only what it was listed for, but what it sold for, whether it sold higher or a lot lower than listing price. So that's why MLS has become popular for non-disclosure. That's why I emphasized it during the comparables. Again, you can run county, neighboring, or MLS in terms of comps. We really wouldn't need a realtor with this. I wouldn't say that. No, realtors are still powerful. Again, they have real-time data. We're usually about a day, 24 to 40 hours behind their listings. There's also what we call syndication. Some realtors refuse to just give us their listing, so it's their listing. They can say, nope, don't want to give it to PropStream. So I wouldn't say that realtors aren't needed. They could be beneficial. Hey, they could find buyers for you. You might have a property on contract. You're struggling to find a buyer. Call an agent. They might have a list of buyers they've worked with throughout the years that they can help you. You might need to obviously split some costs there, but they can definitely be beneficial there. So, do you have to do an analysis prior to printing your CMA? No, just go to a property, any property. In this case, this property, hit the print button, and your CMA is reported. So any property, click on that print button, CMA is recorded, no problem there. Good morning. I believe this will be recorded. I'm sure this will be recorded. So that's a Tony question. Virtual driving for dollars. Yeah, I'm sure you guys like that part. Let's see other questions here. Okay, good question, Carl. When I use PropStream, I can't search by county. Is anyone else having this problem? And that is going to be a problem. Here's why. It's a fairly new search. So here's what you have to do. When you're searching a county, you have to actually spell it all out, right? So for example, Essex. So you have to type out Essex. So Essex County. So nothing shows up yet. So you have to spell it all out. So Essex County, comma, space, New Jersey. Once you have that all typed out, then you will see the drop down. Then you can click on it. Then you'll get your results. So use that. So you have to spell it all out. Los Angeles County, comma, CA. Then you can click on the drop down menu and your results will populate. So great question, because we get a lot of calls on that. The reason for that weird funky format is it's fairly new. We're going to be tightening up the coding a little bit. So in the future, when I type in Los Angeles, I'll be able to click the city and or the county. But for now, it is available. You just have to type it all out, okay? 5 zip codes at a time, you can do that. That's a good question to bring up. So to do 5 zip codes, just separate them by commas. For example, here we go. And then just click on the drop-down menu and you get your results to those 5 zip or up to 5 zip codes. Let's see other. Yeah, we're good. All right. All right. I think questions there. I'm getting to the bottom, so I'm just going through it as fast as
I think we're pretty good, Bert.
Yep.
I see everybody. Yes, you can skip trace inside. It does not count as an export against you. Only the actual people that you. Well, I mean, it's kind of it was one and the same, so it's not like you're getting double hit for your skip trace. So if you
Correct. Yeah. And we don't charge you for duplicates too, which I like. So if, for example, I save 100 properties in a tax lien right now, and then 50 of them decide to list their property on the market 2 weeks from now. And so 2 weeks from now, I look for MLS active listings and I pull, 100 results in that category, but 50 of them were from another group. We don't charge that against you. So even though you have 2 lists, one of 100, another of 100, and theoretically 200, you're only going to get billed 150 in terms of the export because they're duplicates. So we won't charge you for duplicates, even if the property showed up in a different category. And that goes for the skip tracing as well. If you skip trace a property in one category and it shows up in another category and you didn't know that and you skip trace it, our system will say, nope, not skip traceable. So it's a discounted, or it's going to catch the duplicate for you.
Can I start with a good question real quick? Is that okay?
Go ahead.
About integrations. There was a few questions about integrations, API integrations, Podio, Zapier, capabilities for that.
Well, we absolutely do no API with any company, but you can export our data. So like Podio, Mojo, all these CRM applications, all you would have to do really is, again, whether if you have a CRM already and you have your own skip tracing provider, once you build the property, just click on your property and hit export, and we're going to give you a CSV file, which most CRMs allow you to upload, right? So you go from there, or you skip trace it, and then we give you the phone numbers and the emails, and then you export the results, and then you'll get your CSV file. The other way I've seen people use the CRM is that some of these CRMs will give you an email or a phone number to use. So when you go to our campaign and you're doing a voicemail, step 1, put the CRM phone number. Don't put your phone number. Put the number they provide you. So that way, when you send out this RVM and they start calling that number, your CRM is going to monitor it. So you're going to have obviously 2 websites back to back, but we don't do integration directly, but a lot of CRMs, again, will accept our CSV file. And then all you have to do is just make sure you're using their phone number for the voicemail drop, or any event, use their email. Anything that says, please notify me, like in terms of the website, make sure that you're putting the email that they provide you and so forth. So we don't have direct integration, but yeah, you can export our data and bring it over to those guys if you like.
Yeah. So everybody, I will do a training on how I use call tools and PropStream and Unison together, because I know that's basically what people are asking. Bert, I appreciate you taking some time, man. It's been an hour and a half, so I'm gonna let you jump off here. Thank you so much. Everybody show love to Burton. This is I wanted everybody to really get an understanding of how valuable this software is. This is a game changer. It's been a game changer for me. It's really helped me, really turn up 10,000 records for the $97 a month. There are higher plans if you want to get more data. So anybody that's looking to get more data, I'm 25,000 records a month for me. They do have bigger plans. So don't think that you can only get 10,000. I seen the question about can you use like other people in the team? So no, you cannot get multiple logins to this platform. Each if you want to have multiple people, they either have to share that exact username and login password, or you got to get separate accounts. So there is no team using of the software at this point.
Absolutely. Last question was good. Is there a mobile app? Not yet, guys. We are working on one. It's not going to be a copy and paste. Like, the mobile app is not going to look like this. It's going to be entirely different. Think of it as it's going to be like a sidekick, I like to call it, where your web-based version, the one that you're going to be pulling up on a desktop or a laptop, this version will be the core. The mobile app, think of it as it's going to kind of help you get things started, allow you to go out there and find deals and get details while you're on the road, and then kind of send it over to your main account. So that way you use the mobile app to get information, and then you kind of you save your results, and then you get to go home, and then everything is pretty much all set up for you. So you just start placing orders and whatnot. So no ETA there yet, but we are working on a mobile app. For those of you that are on the road a lot, like I am, doing driving for dollars, my personal tip, don't go out and get an iPad. I tried to do, it's expensive. Go to Walmart, get the cheapest laptop you can find, make sure it has Wi-Fi, set up your hotspot, pull over on the side of the road, and start typing away. So, but we're gonna have the mobile app soon. But you guys have been amazing. Tony, as always, man, I always like working with you. If there's anything you need, if you need another one of these, you'll let me know. And you guys, I'm at the call center. If you need to call us or email us, you can ask me for me directly. I do get busy, but sometimes you're lucky. You might even speak to me directly. So thank you, guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Bert.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I know there's still a ton of people that have all kind of PropStream questions, and I'll try to answer as many of them as I can before we jump off here. It's been an hour and a half. Fix this light here.
I was going to say, Tony, it was a couple questions I can answer as well for PropStream. As far as someone asking where the contracts are, you just want to go into your properties, and the option is at the bottom on the left to get contracts.
Also, anybody that has questions on any material that was covered, you can watch the replay. Like, that's what it's for. We're gonna make sure that you have access to all that. So a couple things with PropStream. If you I saw a couple people send me private messages that you went and signed up for PropStream without using my code. It's okay. If you signed up today or recently, you can just call and let them know that you signed up. Coming from Tony the Closer, and they'll honor it. So you'll be able to still get that discount. I will be doing a PropStream and call tools training with where I'll show you exactly how I use the systems to maximize it in my business. What I wanted to do is give you a overview of both of the softwares, and then my team will walk you through exact trainings with that. So use the link. I'll post a link down here in the bottom so everybody can take advantage of the savings. And the big thing for everybody is not just what you get as far as the monthly savings. It's supporting me because I'm plugging you to these guys. So they want to make sure they can monitor everybody that came from me. So I know there's been a lot of signups. The training for PropStream and call tools, that will be another one of the paid for trainings. It will be a separate session because it'll like literally allow me, take about an hour and a half or so of me going through these things. So I will I don't know what day I'm doing it yet because I got so much other stuff I'm trying to get put out to you as far as content, but we will get to it as quickly as we can. I do have a filters list. If you miss Sunday's call, I do have a filters list that I use inside of PropStream that'll be available as well. So you have the option to purchase that. It's $21, and that's literally the exact filters I use inside of PropStream. What else do I have for you? I'm trying to think. I'm missing a couple of things. I saw some questions that were really good I want to answer. I see a lot of people saying, how do you watch the replay? That means that you haven't joined inside of the actual Kajabi course yet. Make sure you join the Kajabi course. There's a link in my Instagram bio where you can join in the challenge. And you got to catch up because you're 12 days, 11 days behind, 10 days behind. If you're in, make sure you're where you need to be at, because if you're not, we have to put you out. So where do you find bigger plans? You would have to just make a call to the support number and they will make those available to you. Let's see. So Tina posted the links to everything for today. Like, if you want to get access to the filters I use, that is available. Everybody, if you don't have the money to be able to get to afford this on your own, try to partner up with somebody that's in your same network, and you can all share your downloads. It's very, very important. This thing will help you create deals, get lists, target the right people. All this stuff is extremely, extremely, extremely valuable. Let's see what else we got here. How do I save certain videos? I'm not sure what you mean by that. How do you find info about Lead Genie? Go to leadgenie.com. Exactly there. Pretty straightforward. Lead Genie, I keep seeing a lot of people calling. I am not answering the phone for you to just ask me what you can see on the website. It's a cold calling company. You get shared minutes. You submit in your leads. You can pull your list off of PropStream using my filters. You can send it into my team. We'll start cold calling for you. You're getting 100 minutes, 200 minutes, or 300 minutes that you purchase. And from there, we'll get you set up and start cold calling for you. We're not answering the damn phone for you to ask 100 questions and not buy. Sorry. So will the training video be available only for the month of July? You will have free access to this course up until the end of this month. And based off you getting deals and your accountability in this course and things of that nature, I'll decide how I'll let you proceed after that. I have not gotten to that point yet. You shouldn't have to worry about the end of the course. You should be worried about getting your first deal. However, I'll figure that out. It's not there yet. Jarrell asked, how accurate are the property cities running comps in PA for 2 different properties, and there were 2 houses. Like I think PropStream is extremely accurate. But if you want to, like, you can always double and triple check. I mean, you got MLS access, you got county access. I mean, you got all the information there, which is real. So, and what you're doing with comparables, we'll get on that in a day or so about like how we actually find the comparables. You're going to find the highest and the lows, and you use the formula to come up with that. We'll know exactly how to get that. You're making a guesstimate anyway, so that'll be fine. I'll help you all understand your comps. Leah asks, I suggest sharing an account. If you do that, can you still create mailers and with different users, etc.? Yes, you can share the account. I think one of the things when you start doing mailers and everything else is making sure everybody understands what they're responsible for, um, and uh, and really just, you have to, as you go in, each time you do a campaign, you have to change the address and stuff inside to make sure that it matched, your details for what your company structure is like. So obviously, Leah, for you, you would have to make sure all the addresses as you were inputting your postcards or whatever inside, you had to make sure that your info that you put in where your name is would be accurate to your business. And then once you set up all your emails, all your mailers, and they go out, then you can change it to the next person and they can do the same thing. So you got to do a little bit extra work, but if you're sharing with somebody, that should be pretty straightforward. Do I find the skip tracing pretty accurate? I use it. That tells you enough. It's literally what I use. Kobe just said it right. All these questions are answered. Oh, and then so understand this: the ringless voicemail that's available inside of PropStream is not the closer's RVM, but I literally do have an RVM system for half the price. I'm always about cutting price for everybody, so everybody wants to get into the my RVM system. Make sure you send me an email to support@leadgenie.com. There's a minimum order of $50 to use the RVM system. I will post I will send a reply email and I'll post it in the group today with all the pricing sheets and everything. But it's a minimum $50 order that'll get you 1,000 ringless voicemail drops, and I only charge if it's a successful drop. So you're not paying unless it actually is a successful and completed drop. I'm using some of the best software out here to do ringless voicemail. In addition to that, you don't have to have a monthly fee. So, like for example, REI Rail, you got to pay $97 a month or $300 a month. There's no sign up fee. There's none of that. You can literally come in, do the ringless. You don't need all that Zillow shit and all that stuff. You can literally use PropStream and pull it up. Having seller data in front of you is cool. I know a lot of people like that, but I think the biggest value comes from when you do ringless drops, you need to answer the damn phone. I know a lot of you make this thing very hard and complicated. When you do ringless drops, you should make sure you're available to get to the phone. My RVM system is literally like one of the dirt cheapest ones in the market. I just want to make sure you guys have access to tools that'll help you be successful. Matter of fact, I think I have an email where I'll show you the pricing sheet so you guys can take a look at that. And just shoot us an email, support@leadgenie.com. We'll get everybody in as quickly as we can. I've already got so many people that are reaching out for this. I don't, it might take me a little bit longer than 24 hours, honestly, to get everybody in, but I will get everybody in. So I'm just share you guys the screen so you can see. If I can find it. I get too many emails, man. I can't even find this damn thing. Oh, here it is. So here's a pricing structure for the ringless voicemail drops. Pretty straight to the point. Minimum order of $50. You get 1,000 delivered messages. Once again, you only get charged if the message is delivered. There's no setup fee. There's no monthly fee. So literally, you pay 5 cents flat rate. You can do the math very easy where you want to be at, but this is going to be a game changer for a lot of you. I'll literally tell you right now, there's so many other people that overcharge for all this stuff. I'm not going, I'm really just getting straight to the meat and potatoes for you. I want you to be able to be successful. This is like literally the same software that all the people are using and overcharging people, and I'm just cutting their throats off right now. They got to go to sleep. So you can see there it's a 90% listen rate with these. You only pay for your successful drops. And this is like I'm telling you right now, this is one of the game changers. It's been a game changer for me in my business. You literally right now can start doing ringless drops and you'll be able to get people on the telephone right away. So you can see all the prices here. I'll make sure that I'll get back and reply. I'll have the team or I will reach out, send you the details. You just let me know how many messages you like to get dropped. Give me your name. We'll set up a username and password for you. We'll get you signed up today or within the next 24 hours, depending on how many people. I mean, it's a ton of people in this training. But we'll get everybody in. And I want you to start taking action with all these programs that I'm showing you, because everything that we're building right now is showing you how you can build your business for as cheap as you possibly can. I don't want you to come in here and feel like you need thousands of dollars to be successful. With 1,000 delivered messages at $50, for example, that for a lot of y'all, that could get you on the phone with a motivated seller right away. Ringless voicemail has been a game changer for a lot of people. It's been something that like all the gurus are now, transforming and using because it's just another way of getting in contact with people. Make sure you take advantage of this. If you got to obviously make sure that you're in your state that is legal, because I think Florida might have some gray areas with it, a couple other states, but if it fits where you are, I think it's something that can really help you out as far as your marketing. Ringless voicemail is something that is a game changer. And I'm gonna tell you, ladies, y'all have a huge edge when it comes to like voicemails, because when men hear a woman on the other end of the phone, they're more likely to call back. So all the ladies on here, I use Tina and my sisters for all my ringless drops. I don't even use my own voice, and I'm telling you to close it, because women have the ability to get people to call back. It's a fact. So all the ladies on here, you have a huge edge when it comes to doing ringless drops, because people want to come back and call women back. It's facts. So I get calls back because of her voice. It's just, you got to use it. It works, and it'll help you on the telephone. So everybody, I want to see everybody taking action this week. Like, this is a big week. We want to make sure that everybody has found their accountability partners for the training. The accountability partners, everybody's driving for dollars. We're following the 100K blueprint. Everybody should have access to the actual Kajabi course for every single replay that we've done. And that'll be good. Renee, what are you not understanding? I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Donica said whenever she calls, younger guys immediately start flirting. I'm telling you, yeah, man, it's like ladies gotta act. Use it. Yeah, make sure you're also inside the Facebook group. Everybody should be inside the 100K Club Facebook group. I want to make sure we're not missing anything here. But tomorrow, we'll finally get to comps. We started it last week, and you know how that went. But tomorrow we will cover comps. I'll actually show you my comp calculator that I use that helps me really just pick the 3 highest in the area that sold, 3 lowest. I populate it in, and it'll give me my comps and my numbers I can use at 50, 60, 70%, or 80% of the market. I'm going to show you guys give you access to all that. So big day tomorrow. Make sure you come. It will be at 11 o'clock tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Plan for being on a call for at least 1 hour. We won't be on as long as we were today. Obviously, we had a very, very deep training with PropStream. So tomorrow we will be 45 minutes to an hour. Everybody should be making offers today, driving for dollars, talking to sellers, setting appointments, action taking. Big week for us. I want to make sure everybody's filling up their pipelines. Yeah, everybody I see someone ask me if you're using Deal Machine right now, use the promo code CLOSER. It should give you a 30-day trial. It should not be a 14-day trial. And if it's giving you a 14-day trial, I'll reach out to Dave so he can get you guys straight. But everyone should be using Deal Machine. You get literally a 30-day free trial. There's no excuse not to use it. For this full month, you should have access to the full 30 days. Cheat sheet to PropStream. My filters, how I use it, the exact filters that help David Cousins in the first week of Lead Genie get 17 appointments in 3 days. Using my filters, I strongly recommend you go get these filters. I think every one of his sellers had no interest in owning a house, and they're motivated. So my filters work, y'all. I advise you to go get those. Class will be at 11 on time tomorrow. Okay. Does the Deal Machine trial cover the membership or the postcard? So it gives you 30 days free, and then he'll give you a few credits as well. Can't remember the exact amount of credits, but you do get some free credits, not all. So if you're sending out a bunch of postcards, after a while, you will have to pay. Somebody said, does the first payment of PropStream start after the 7th day or the end of the month? It's a 7-day free trial. Ouch. I know why you sent that one in private. Y'all be scaring me with some of these questions, boy. Shit. And y'all be calling Tina, holding her up from conducting business with me, asking some of these questions. I'm about to take the 800 number off Lead Genie. Y'all want Lead Genie? It's my cold callers, that cold call for you. You go look on the website for the price. Don't call unless you're ready to spend money. Damn. Y'all be crazy, man. Some of the questions y'all be asking, it's on the website. How many minutes I get for $300? It's on a damn website in your face. Like, we're conducting business here. People like, y'all got to do better than this stuff. Some of these questions, I'd be like, shit. See why some of y'all ain't got no deal, because y'all not using basic common sense. Like, some of this shit is pure scary. Y'all talking about, why y'all be acting like I got an anger issue? I'm just telling the truth. Y'all don't like hearing the truth, huh? Ask a question like, on a 7-day trial, do I get billed at the end of the month or the end of 7 days? But I'm the crazy one. Sheesh. Do y'all be reading this? If y'all read the questions I get all day, like, y'all would understand why I be coming here like, boy, good. This is beyond me. Okay, so is everybody like feeling really good about where they are right now with the information that we've shared so far? Like, I want to know, like, in the first 10 days of the training, even without understanding, like, we still got to go through comps and we still got to talk about cash buyers. Like, those are only 2 things that literally are left out at this point. Do you feel like you got enough information to go out right now and talk to sellers and get a contract? Like, outside of running your comps and your numbers, do you feel like right now in these 10 days, you have what can help you go talk to sellers and start getting deals done? Y'all talking about my facial expression? I'm not kidding. I get like 200 emails a day. I put the Lead Genie number up there to try to help you know, with some people that have questions, and it's poor Tina, man. I feel bad for Tina because she's nicer than I am. She's way nicer than I am. Because I'll be like, yo, you get off my damn phone with some of these questions. For real. Officially tuned in this week, wasn't aware of the challenge. Very confident, making more calls. That's perfect. So I'm seeing a lot of people saying that this is what, you know, it's been what I would hope it would be. And I hope that, like, the biggest thing is that everyone really, you know, starts making sure that we're manufacturing and generating leads every single day, talking to sellers every single day, working on our confidence. This stuff doesn't happen by just listening to these trainings and not doing anything. Get it in your groups with your accountability partners. We need to be taking massive action. And it's gonna come. Like, we are all closers, not just Tony the closer. It's closers all in. We got 1,100 people in here, and I promise you, if you believe you're a closer, you will be a fucking closer. Period. My confidence comes from the fact that I bought into this and then I went all in. And after I started having success, it just followed. Like, the more success you have just by doing the work, you'll gain confidence. You'll get more confident in presenting your offers. You'll get more confident in coming up with comps. You'll get more confident with objection handling. It just happens by doing it. It's not going to happen overnight. Embrace this process. It's going to be okay. It's going to be some struggles at times, but I promise you, get in these groups, work with your accountability partners, and you will continue to get better every single day. The number one thing I want to make sure that everyone is doing in addition to this is every day, in addition to what we do on these live calls, you should be doing daily training. You should be going back and doing 20 minutes of daily training minimum. It's very, very important as you begin to learn new things that you implement and then practice them every single day. Before you start making your cold calls, you should be practicing. Get with an accountability partner, whoever, your friends, girlfriends, or whatever, you need to be role playing. Every single day, these things will help you become more professional, more confident, and you'll be able to handle objections that much better by literally role playing. So I want to make sure that everyone understands the importance of daily practice. Daily practice. So many people worry about what happens once we get to the finish line in the end of July. What I want you to focus on right now is where you currently are and making sure you get the most out of every bit that we're doing right now. So everyone should be practicing daily, and these things will become a lot easier for you. I guarantee you, just by doing it every single day. But you can't come in, do it for a day, and then wait for me to train it again 2 weeks later. This is stuff that you have to work on every single day for it to become muscle memory. So we'll be right back at it tomorrow. We just hitting the 2 hour mark, so I'm jumping off this bad boy. I got work to do. Thank everyone for coming. Thank everyone for not being a distraction. I'm glad everybody's getting valuable information that you can go apply into your business right away. Once again, let's continue to work with each other. Let's continue to build each other. We are all closers. Where are my closers at? Where are my closers at? Y'all can unmute yourself and make some noise. Where are my closers at? I need my closers to step up this week. This is the week of the closers. Like, everybody step up this week. Everybody step up this week. Put your damn shirt on, boy. We don't want to see that. Everybody. Who that? Tori, I will boot your ass about here. Put your shirt on, man. All right, hold on a second. I had to boot somebody today. I was just waiting on somebody to boot. Listen, thank everybody, everybody for taking this thing serious. Thank everybody for supporting your boy. Thank you for liking my stuff, showing love, all those posts I'm getting. I'm seeing all these tags. I'm seeing people getting deals. Thank you to all of you who are taking the step, not only for me, but for yourself and working with the community to build this It's Our Turn movement. I'll see you guys tomorrow. If you're in my cold calling course, we will have class tonight. If you're in my cold calling course, I see you over there, Dave. I'm gonna send you an email pretty soon. Class tonight. Mr. No, class tonight. We got some work to do. Make sure this cold calling is sharp. We're gonna make sure we're using that framework tonight. Everybody, I love y'all. I see y'all tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern time. We're going back to the original Zoom link. If you haven't already jumped inside the actual training for the replays, there's a link in my Instagram bio. Join the Facebook group. Somebody can show you how to get in from there. But everybody, thank you, thank you, thank you. We're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to get knowledge every single day. Free game. Everybody now, I see all the gurus trying to copy the free month challenge now. We done put heat on their ass. They want to do free challenges now. They want to jump into it. They see what's happening. They see the movement. Let's continue to grow. Let's keep sharing this with everybody. Get 2 or 3 friends that come with you tomorrow. Bring 2 or 3 people with you tomorrow. Get your homies that's broke. Get their ass out the street and bring them to the training tomorrow. Get them refocused on something that's going to help them change their lives. I know y'all got somebody that y'all sitting there that you hang out with, play video games with, or bullshit at work with. Bring them into the training. Get them in here. Give them access to be able to help them change their lives as well. It's our turn, not your damn turn. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.